The internet has been talking about adult tummy time as a way to reverse the folded up position that we spend so much of our time in. It's basically a sphinx position where you lie on your stomach and prop up on your elbows. And maybe you scroll your phone in that position instead of that position. It might not be a great idea to suddenly throw yourself into a back bend. So we put together a 5-step sequence to build up to it and make sure you get the most out of the position without risk of hurting yourself. And then we added a bonus core strengthening exercise to use with it at the end. You might notice the sequence moves slowly, and that's by design. If we're completely reversing a habitual position, we want to give the body and the brain time to adapt. So breathe and take your time. And remember that any position can get weird if we stay in it for too long. So try going through the sequence with full attention, and then you can flip over onto your back for the scrolling.
As we start with a quad stretch, so we'll tuck the knees in pretty close and get that going back and forth. And then come on back and let's just stay for an extra inhale, exhale, hip pressing forward. And then we can release, starting with quad stretch, knees tucked way up, easy back and forth. One more time, back and just stay a moment, hip forward, forward, forward. Great. All right, when you're ready to release that, we've got the ball. Let's just take it between our shoulder blades real quick, lying back on it, just to kind of soften up our rib cage into a little bit of extension. So just on your own timing, let's do that. Inhaling to open and exhaling to wrap the elbows in and just gather your chin in toward your throat a little bit. And so we're just following the breath, maybe shifting around on the ball to find the place where we feel like we can open up the most, gently around the ball. And then if there's a version of the back bend that feels nice, go ahead and hang out in that for a little bit. If not, lose the ball and you can just lie flat on the floor and open the elbows like this and just get the opening across the chest and the nice flatness of the mat. And then we can float one elbow to temple to fall in the other direction. And yeah, okay, and now we can lie on our stomachs. Let's turn the head to one side, so we're resting on a temple. Bring your arms into the most comfortable position, kind of bent around your head. We just want to float up enough that we can look out in front of ourselves without having to get too bendy in the neck or too weird anywhere. And then let's come down on the other side. Let's have our inhale sort of inflate and suspend us into that looking forward position. And then the exhale can float us down on the other side. So again, we're just doing this in the most natural and comfortable way possible. Just want us to be sure that if we are pushing on the arms, it doesn't push our shoulders into our ears. We can still have the shoulder blades nice and low on the back. In fact, when you first push on the arms to come up, can you actually feel your shoulders rebound down the back, low shoulder blades, instead of up toward the ears? And feel how the more we can kind of push with the arms to push the shoulder blades down the back, the easier it is to get that back bend in the rib cage. And after our last one, overlap our hands and float down in the middle, forehead on the hands, and rest. Ground. Let's have our more passive anchoring of the pubic bone, so it is anchored, but in that easy way. As we exhale and float one super straight leg to stretch it long behind us. Inhale, set that one down. Exhale, the other one reaches first. The lift should feel like the result of reaching it so long. Yeah, that way we're not bending the knee to get the foot off the floor. The knee should actually feel like it's getting straighter and straighter. Good, yeah, keep alternating that with your breath. And we'll feel a little bit more weight shift onto the hip of the lifting leg. But with that little side shift, we should feel like we're kind of rocking across the pubic bone anchor to get to the other side. Gorgeous. Yeah, feel how really the lift is coming from the very upper hamstring, kind of root of the thigh bone right underneath the sit bone. And the next time you lift a leg, hold that one. Let's bring the other one up as well. Now we really feel the pubic bone kind of digging into the ground. Both legs stretching to infinity behind us. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest, relax, waggle the tailbone side to side a little bit. Okay, let's see if a Sphinx position feels available. If this doesn't feel like a great place to hang out, you might go back to our very first version where we're just floating up to look in front of us and then coming down on the other side. Stay in motion and keep it a little smaller. Can we feel like we've got our passive pubic bone anchor? Maybe the navel has not an intense ab squeeze, but just a little hover of the navel to soften the curve of the arch in the low back right now. And to help the tailbone feel like it's dropping out really long through the thigh bones. So navel is up, tailbone is hanging down and back. And then be really tiny with this because, of course we don't want to collapse way down into the shoulders, but just like let your earlobes maybe sink a millimeter down into your shoulders, just so we can really feel the whole forearm and even the finger pads really press into the ground to lift the ears up out of the shoulders. And then we'll drop in even less. Earlobes barely sink, just so the entire surface of the forearm and palm and finger pads press, and we lift up out of there. One more time, barely sink. And then press. Good. We're hovering, we're breathing, we're stretching the neck super long. Choose your own adventure at any point. Child's pose would be a great option. If this is working for you so far, we could tuck the toes under into a little toe stab position so that it's fingers and toes all connecting to the ground as the elbows and knees press the floor to press us through to a little bit of an elbow knee plank. Still stretching the earlobes out of the shoulders here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Be sure to stay really lifted through the neck and the ears as we slowly lower ourselves back down. You can release the feet as well. Let's breathe easy here, and then we'll get one more round in a moment. Maybe do just the tiniest little earlobe sink, so that forearm, wrist, palm, finger pads push the ground away so intensely. Option to tuck the toes under. Fingers, toes pressing, elbows, knees pressing, middle floats. Yes, and just burrow those elbows down into the ground. Lengthen the earlobes out of the shoulders. 10, 9, gorgeous. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now from here, think of your tailbone piking upward, drawing backward. Then the elbows can crawl back. Let's get the thigh bones to vertical. Hips right over knees, yes. And then option to broaden out the elbows to let the forehead fall to the mat. And arms can go wherever, just giving ourselves a little puppy stretch here. And then as you're ready, we can draw back and just fold into our child's pose one more time.